Americans cannot perceive the government doing something not for profit. It doesn't matter if the company doesn't make money. The company or the store doesn't make money. The goal is to get people to get groceries that are affordable. Listen, if you put a stupid Ben Shapiro tweet on my feed, how can I resist? How can I resist? I don't know how many of you guys saw this Zohran tweet from 19 hours ago. Happy Tax Day, New York. We're taxing the rich.
Mayor, I said I was going to tax the rich. Well, today, we're taxing the rich. I'm thrilled to announce we've secured a pied-a-terre tax, the first in New York's history. This is an annual fee on luxury properties worth more than $5 million, whose owners do not live full-time in the city. Like for this penthouse, which hedge fund CEO Ken Griffin bought for $238 million. This pied-a-terre tax is specifically designed for the richest of the rich, those who store their wealth in New York City real estate, but who don't actually live here. But even so, they're able to reap the huge financial rewards of owning property in, dare I say, the greatest city in the world. And most of the time, these units are sitting empty since...
My only complaint that I feel like the audio mixing team did not maximize the juicing on this video. And listen, don't get me wrong, the music is dope and everything, but I want to hear my mayor, man. It's a little loud. It's a little loud.
They don't actually live here. This is a fundamentally unfair system that hurts working New Yorkers. Now, it's coming to an end. This tax will raise at least $500 million directly for the city. It'll help fund things like free childcare, cleaner streets, and safer neighborhoods. As mayor, I believe everyone has a role to play in contributing to our city, and some a little bit more than others. Happy Tax Day, New York.
Denims is an audio file? Sorry. I'm sorry for being an audio file. Okay, we get it. We get it, flexing that you have him as a mayor. We're not so lucky. I mean, I'm in California and I have been for years now, but since I grew up in New York, I have to cope and pretend like I'm living there. You know what I mean? I have to cope and pretend like, okay, it's like he's our mayor. He is America's mayor too, you know what I mean? Spiritually, he's all of our mayors. That's what I mean. Okay, Denims, as a New Yorker, I can confirm we claim you. Yay! Thank you. Okay, that makes me so happy. I do want to move back to New York eventually. Don't get me wrong, I do like California, and there's a lot of things about California I like, but there are so many things that I love so much more about New York. Mostly, this is going to sound silly, but besides transportation, weather changing. I miss seasons, bro. I miss seasons. I miss seasons. Do not come to Albany, New York under any circumstances. I've never gone upstate. Ever. Go Midwest? No. I have to be an elitist coaster. Why'd you move to California? Because I wanted to. I don't know. I don't know. There's people I knew here, and I wanted to. And don't get me wrong, the first, I would say, like, year or two, I was like, dude, it's summer all the time. Because I used to love summer. Summer was my favorite season. Literally, my favorite season. And New York made it my favorite season because New York actually has, like, shade and trees, and other states don't have this. Or sidewalks. You know, it's not a surprise Americans are depressed and lonely and sad. All right? It's really not a surprise. What do you mean there's no sidewalks? Other states don't have trees? Not like... Here, let me pull up there a good image I can use? Yes. This is a great, depressing image to show. It feels like I took this for granted when I lived in New York, but almost every single street in New York just looks like this. There's just trees everywhere. So if you aren't getting shade because you're next to a giant skyscraper, you're getting shade because there's trees literally everywhere. So it's hot, but you don't ever feel like it's summer because the shade provided by the trees just lowers the temp for everybody. So the concrete is like anywhere from I think it's like could be 5 to 20 degrees cooler. And the actual temperature can be like 5 to 20 degrees cooler, like the air. Everywhere is a stretch. I mean, I don't know, most areas. And most of LA, it feels like, is just, there's just no, the worst is Vegas. I understand Vegas is just like a tourist trap, and the goal of Vegas is just to like steal every single penny that you have. So why would they ever have awnings or trees? But like, it's just, you literally are just getting baked. MashaAllah. Have you forgotten what humidity feels like? I, I'm biased towards humidity because humidity makes my skin clear. My skin hates the dry. I mean, everyone's skin hates the dry. This is like, it felt like a lot of streets in New York look like this, or a lot of the streets that I ran into look like this, especially like off streets. So like there's a lot of one ways in when sorry outside of Manhattan. Although to be fair, I haven't spent a lot of time in the Bronx, so I don't know what the Bronx is like. But in Brooklyn and in Queens, nobody goes to Staten Island. The one-way streets and the residential streets all have trees. They all literally have trees. On like the main streets, sometimes not so much. Sometimes there isn't as much shade on the main streets, but that's fine because it's like the next street over has shade. That's why New Jersey's so hot. That's why people call New Jersey the armpit of the region. It's because it's like you're so close and you have the benefits of being near New York, but you don't have any of like the infrastructure and the pleasure from the infrastructure. You're just getting like baked alive in the summer. But anyways, I didn't realize I love New York. Sorry, I love summer in New York, or I love summer in a city with good infrastructure. When you have a city that has shit infrastructure, no wonder people hate summer. And it's because you just like walk, there's no sidewalks anywhere. It's all just concrete as far as the eye can see. You get no shade anywhere. It's awful. It's awful. Were you born in New York? Yes. I was born, I spent like my first 20 something years in New York. Your car is fucking burning? Oh my God. That's the worst thing, being a car cell. When you get in your car and it's fucking hot. Ugh. So awful. And they call New York City the concrete jungle. It's like, brother, at least we have trees, man. Shit. Ugh. Getting branded by your seatbelt. Anyways, I saw one post that was responding to this saying like, yeah, but there are downsides to trees. And they were getting cooked in the replies and in the retweets. They were beating this guy's ass. They were like, what downfalls? And they were like, there's a lot of leaves and stuff. And it requires maintenance. It's like, I hate you. I hate you. I hate everything you stand for. I hate you. Go sit in the sun, you lazy fuck. One slur type shit. Okay, but back to this for a moment. Ben Shapiro.
This smarmy Marxist doesn't see taxes primarily as a way to provide necessary public services. He sees them as revenge. Celebrates the confiscation of wealth and he has nothing to earn. This is pure class envy, and it's hideous.
Shut up. Shut your Kirk ass up. Oh my fucking God, dude. No, it's because people like you always say, "Oh yeah, how are you going to pay for your child care? How are you going to do that, huh?" Let me pull this up. Grocery stores. No, there was something else. There was a post talking about the grocery store, the government-run grocery stores. Oh my God, Forbes. Mamdani's municipal grocery stores risk making New York City's affordability problem worse. Let's read the article. Let's see the nonsense in here. Timing matters. Latest reporting also clarifies something the campaign slogans obscured. These are not really government-run grocery stores in the literal sense of City Hall stocking shelves and buying cucumbers under the... No thanks, I'm good. Under the model, where were we? Announced this week, the city takes on capital burden, buying the land, absorbing construction and rent costs, while a private operator selected through a competitive procurement process runs the store itself. The city will create a task force, issue procurement this summer, and require the operator pass savings through to shoppers on a core basket of staples. In other words, even Mamdani's own administration appears to understand that retail management expertise will have to come from the private sector. Oh, do you mean like USPS, you fucking imbeciles at Forbes? Government run or government operated like USPS doesn't mean you just buy a bunch of stuff and then say, okay, take what you want or something and put money on the counter, people. Yeah, you're still going to run it mostly like a business in that people are going to go in and pay for the goods, and it's going to be on the employer or the manager to run the business and keep track of what everything costs. What? I don't understand what this article is even trying to like argue. As opposed to what exactly? That like you want like a representative or a city council member to run the store? That doesn't make any sense. I'm sorry. I'm going to control my hatred for business bros for just a moment so we can get to this article. The case for initiative is not difficult to understand. New York food prices have risen sharply for years. State Comptroller Thomas Dinopoli's office reported that food costs in the New York City metropolitan area rose 56.2% between 2012 and 2013 and 22 to 23, and that grocery or food at home costs rose 65%. His office also found that more than 1.2 million residents live in food insecure households. Several neighborhoods across the 5 boroughs, including parts of Harlem, have notably fewer supermarkets per capita. On those numbers alone, Mamdani is right that food affordability is a real policy problem, not a manufactured one. Supporters therefore see a plausible public policy rationale. East Harlem is not an arbitrary choice either. Mamdani pointed to the neighborhood's economic profile, where roughly 4 in 10 East Harlem households depend on public assistance or SNAP. Okay, can we get to the part? Okay, sympathy for the problem should not substitute realism about the business. Grocery retail is one of the hardest industries for policymakers to romanticize, and once they look at the numbers, according to the Food Industry Association, the average net profit margin for food retailers in 2024 was just 1.7%. That's razor thin. A supermarket is not a software platform or a toll bridge. Yeah, but the question is, how much are the people who are doing no labor getting paid? When we're talking profit, we're saying all of the revenue minus all of the costs. In that cost calculation is labor cost. In the labor cost is wages. In the wages is CEOs and CFOs and COOs getting paid obscene bonuses for no fucking reason, or getting paid obscene wages for no fucking reason. So when we're talking about low profit margin, it has to be more than just, oh, well, these companies showed that these food retailers didn't make that much of a profit. It's like, well, can we get like, I don't know, a detailed balance sheet of how much everyone was getting paid for their work? I don't know. An idea. 1.7% is after CEO and other C-suite pay. Yep. The fun fact, it's already currently within USPS infrastructure capacity to add credit union and bus service between every post office. It's been done in other countries. We could do it too. P.S. I work at USPS, so facts, etc. I'm working for a grocery store chain right now as I watch you, and I will gladly run the Zohran Communism grocery store. Get me a job, Denims. FYI, my company has spent probably $1 billion on stock buybacks in the past decade. Our CEO owns $20 million in stock currently. You don't understand. We're just not making that much profit right now. Okay. A supermarket is not a software platform or a toll bridge. It is a high volume, low margin, logistics heavy operation in which modest errors in procurement, spoilage, theft, labor scheduling, or distribution can wipe out earnings. Unless the city is bringing in a genuine operational innovation to market rather than a subsidy, it is fair to ask why the industry New Yorker wants to enter as an owner. Because there's a food insecurity problem, and the easiest way to get people cheap groceries is to run a government-run grocery store? Huh? The administration is no longer promising universally cheaper groceries across the board. Instead, officials say that there will be discounted core basket of fresh everyday goods, but they have not determined exactly how the discount will be calculated. Mamdani himself acknowledged that he could not provide a concrete item-by-item price example for shoppers. Yeah, because that would be a fucking ridiculous thing to request. Yeah, well, how much are you going to charge for milk? I don't know, man. It depends on how much we're going to be able to buy the milk for. So there's a really good More Perfect Union video that we watched that I highly recommend if you know anyone in your life that is like, these grocery stores would never work. And the More Perfect Union video shows how we already have government-run grocery stores we already have these. They just are in the shape of government subsidies for military families. me see if I can find this. Yeah, commissaries. That was the word I was looking for.
Non-pay benefit of being in the military. One retiree in 1979 said it like this. In 1946, when I joined the service, I was told that certain things would happen if I lived through 20 years and didn't get killed in combat. I'm entitled to commissaries. It's part of the deal. In the late 1800s, while the rest of the country's food supply was consolidating and privatizing, the military made the decision to build their own retail system rather than plug into what the rest of the country was doing. And by the 1930s, the commissary was extended from service members to their families, such that spouses and dependents could shop at commissaries by themselves. I decided that to fully understand how the commissary works, I needed to go out and talk to one of these military families. So we are here in West Point where we're going to meet Rachel Sally, and she's going to tell us about all things commissary.
I also worked at one of the most successful employee-owned grocery chains, and we can absolutely use the same model to have publicly owned stores. Yes. But one important thing that they mention in here is that the way that the commissaries work is they keep certain costs low for like certain necessary goods that Americans are expected to buy every time they go to the grocery store, stay at a low price. So things like eggs, milk, bread. And those are the, well, no, not loss leaders. It's a different model from the Costco model. Loss leader refers to having a product that is a loser for you, but it brings people in the door. Commissaries innately bring people in the door because they're cheaper overall. So it's different than a loss leader. Because you don't need to convince people to go to the commissary if the commissary is just cheaper. They have certain items that are highly, that are luxury goods that are priced up that people don't need or don't buy that often, but people kind of want. And if you kind of want that, you can pay a little bit more, but all of the staples will remain cheap. I forget the example that they use. They talk about the benefits of having everything run. Here, sorry, let me show you guys this. This part is also useful.
President Ford and President Carter favored eliminating the taxpayer subsidy, and the alternative is always to privatize. The thinking goes that this will unlock efficiencies. Consider something like the fact that Walmart owns its own distribution.
They own their distribution system. You know, they have centers, they have their own trucks. We did not have that luxury. I would have loved to have gotten that, but that would have been a huge startup cost involved.
So there you go. That's a foregone efficiency, right? But the thing is that those efficiencies also have costs.
When I came in to run DECA, Congress told me to run it like a business. I said, okay, I'll run it like a business. So I came back to the Hill with a list of stores I wanted to close. They were like, oh, you can't close any stores. Are you crazy?
Because Americans cannot perceive the government doing something not for profit. It doesn't matter if the company doesn't make money. The company or the store doesn't make money. The goal is to get people to get groceries that are affordable. It's a service. You would never... I mean, it's the same thing as like when Trump was like, we're at a trade deficit with these countries. Can you imagine going to a tailor to get certain clothing tailored and you're like, dude, I'm at a trade deficit with my tailor. I pay them money and they never pay me money. It's like, what? What the fuck are you talking about? Yeah, you're the one that wants a good from them. They want goods from other people. There's a big circle here. Yeah, time to tariff my tailor, I guess. But it's the same thing with the government-run grocery stores. They're very comparable to commissaries, where, first of all, it's okay if it runs at a slight cost. That's the purpose of taxes, to provide people benefits in the shape or the form of cheaper groceries in neighborhoods that otherwise don't have grocery stores. But also, we have proof that shows that, for example, alcohol stores, government-run alcohol stores can run a profit, and also that if you have products that are kept at cost or as low as possible, and you have ideal, efficient processes. This is the reason why Arizona iced tea is still $1. It's because they've done their best efforts to have full control over distribution and full control over the factories and plants that they make the Arizona iced tea. So they can actually track every part of the production and distribution. So they can see where they can cut costs, or they can see how to cut costs because they're not paying for somebody else to do any other labor for them. There's no middlemen there. Yeah. Anyways, neither here nor there. I like how when Mamdani proposes an idea and it's like, yeah, people deserve to have groceries that are fairly priced. And they say, well, how are you going to pay for it? What if it runs at a deficit? Then what are you going to do? Oh, well, we're going to tax the rich. How could you tax the rich? You're just doing this out of revenge because you're jealous they have money and you don't. That's where we're at. Ladies and gentlemen, the conservative mind. In Cuba, we have free groceries, government grocery run, grocery stores in general. We have a book where the store marks everything we get weekly or monthly, depending on the item. To secure logistics, most of the items are either cheaper than regular stores or free. Other stores, although government run as well, don't work as service stores. Did you see the Twitter woman, Linda Yacarino, said the pied-a-terre tax is the scariest thing I've ever seen? Yes, taxing rich people's vacant properties. It's so scary. Oh my God. For anyone who doesn't know what pied-a-terre properties are, I think if I'm not mistaken, unless it's changed in the past 5 years, pied-a-terre just means walk the earth. AKA, it's a property you buy in a location that is ideal for real estate, but you don't actually live there. It's a property you own for the purpose of an investment. But on the ground, yeah, it's supposed to be like you travel and you go to lots of places and you have lots of properties in lots of areas. And it's a second home, but not really. It's more so a way to store your money. And these properties it's so expensive. It's so insane. And I did do research on vacancy taxes many years ago when Vancouver was trying it out. It is kind of sad because a lot of vacancy taxes don't actually increase housing, but they do generate obscene amounts of profit, or they do generate a crazy amount of money in major cities that can be used for things like government-run grocery stores. So yeah, I mean, I'll take that. Sure. We tax the richest people who are owning like $200 million penthouses in New York so that people can buy cheap groceries. What's wrong with that? No, but the poor people didn't earn it. And the rich people definitely did, for sure. Yeah. Whatever you say, man. So pathetic. So smarmy, dude. The word smarmy is being used by the smarmiest, most libs, conservatives ever. It's so fucking ironic. Yeah. You know, a hospital should make money for the hospital CEO. Otherwise, what's the use of hospitals? Okay, but like, it does feel like talking to the average conservative is this. It does feel like when you talk to conservatives, they genuinely think that all of the things that are useful in society are only useful because they're making money for someone. It's like, what? You know, the purpose of a grocery store is to make money. Do you think if grocery stores didn't make money, they shouldn't exist? And what exactly should people do? They should just start interacting directly with the farmers. They should start growing their own food. And the government shouldn't step in. The world's richest government shouldn't step in to help their people. Okay, dude. All right, dude.